a fight!
WWE Battleground from Tampa, Florida. Tonight, the baddest brand in pro wrestling takes over new ground.
What a fight!
WWE Battleground from Tampa, Florida. Tonight, the baddest brand in pro wrestling takes over new ground.
What a fight!
WWE Battleground from Tampa, Florida. Tonight, the baddest brand in pro wrestling takes over new ground.
What a fight!
WWE Battleground from Tampa, Florida. Tonight, the baddest brand in pro wrestling takes over new ground.
What a fight!
WWE Battleground from Tampa, Florida. Tonight, the baddest brand in pro wrestling takes over new ground.
Then, now, forever. Together.
And now, WWE presents Countdown to Battleground.
This is Tampa, Florida, where the WWE Universe has made their presence felt throughout the weekend as WWE TakeOver Weekend continues tonight with Battleground. The entire landscape of NXT changed after Stand and Deliver, and tonight big things are in store at Battleground. Welcome on in to Countdown to Battleground. I'm Megan Morant. He is Sam Roberts. Sam, what makes tonight in Tampa any different than a normal night in NXT?
Well, you talk about how much NXT has changed since Stand and Deliver, and that's what tonight is all about. The Battleground is Tampa, Florida, and the battle is for the future of NXT, a brand that is so in flux right now. Everybody is looking to cement a spot and be looked at as that future superstar becoming the superstar of today.
Today, the future and Sam, history could be made tonight at Battleground. Let's get you guys caught up on what is in store from Tampa.
Oh, Megan, how about this one? The match nobody saw coming. Obafemi is defending the NXT Championship against the man who got himself the biggest opportunity he's ever had in his life, Miles Bourne.
Sam, I was talking about history, and this is exactly it, because for the first time ever, the TNA World Championship will be defended on a WWE Premium Live event as Joe Hendry takes on Trick Williams.
Kalani Jordan found herself an opportunity Tuesday on NXT. Tonight, she looks to gain back what was once hers, but she's going to have to dig deep if she wants to win the Women's North American Championship from Sol Ruca.
And how about this one? Hank and Tank walked out of Stand and Deliver with gold, but tonight they team up with Josh Briggs to take on the Culling.
A family boils over. This personal rivalry explodes at Battleground tonight. Tony D'Angelo goes one-on-one with his former underboss, Stacks.
And this one, Sam, is for all of the marbles. It's known as the best division in women's wrestling, but only one woman can stand at the top. The NXT Women's Championship is on the line as Stephanie Vaquer defends her title against Jordynne Grace.
I I'd like to introduce myself.
From San Fernando, Chile, a Chilean badass who has taken the wrestling world by storm.
The first woman to ever hold the NXT Women's Championship and the North American Championship at the same time.
I am the NXT Women's Champion, La Primera.
Stephanie Vaquer!
Estamos con Stephanie Vaquer, chilena oriunda de San Fernando y campeona de la categoría mundial más importante del mundo de la lucha libre femenina.
¡Ay, me veo hermosa! No puede ser, es increíble.
And the winner of Breakout Superstar of the Year is Stephanie Vaquer.
If you don't think that is exciting, you have to look no further than what is standing at this desk here today. The current NXT Women's Champion, Stephanie Vaquer.
Here we go, baby.
To the surprise of absolutely nobody, La Primera establishes dominance once again. All eyes are on our champion here in NXT.
Eva, who is my next challenger?
Julia or Jordan Grace. They're gonna have a #1 contenders match. Whoever wins that, that's your opponent at Battleground.
Battleground implications hang in the balance. There is Jordan Grace. Will she become the #1 contender? Or will it be her opponent tonight, Julia? And Jordan Grace is headed to Battleground.
I came here tonight, and I did exactly what I said I was going to do.
Jordan Grace, face to face with the Dark Angel.
I earned my long overdue singles title match against Stephanie. And Battleground is a very fitting name because that is exactly what it's going to be.
Jordan, I hope you're ready for the hell I got to put you through. Jordan was at the top of TNA, and now she wants to be at the top for NXT. Jordan, she conquered championship, but I conquered continents.
Stephanie and I have one goal in mind, and that's to be at the top of the best women's division in professional wrestling. I think I'm the best. Stephanie thinks she's the best. In Tampa, we'll find out who's right.
To become the best luchadora, I went through hell. And I made that hell my home.
At Stand Deliver, she escaped with the NXT Women's Championship once, but at Battleground, there is no escape.
At Battleground, I will show you, Jordan, when you get close to my hell, you will burn in flame.
The time is now. Grace Vaquer for the NXT Women's Championship at Battleground.
It wasn't too long ago that these two women, Stephanie Vaquer and Jordan Grace, were the two of the hottest free agents in all of wrestling. But Sam, tonight, it's not about just making it to NXT, which was a goal of both of these women. It's about holding the title. Stephanie Vaquer has already made history in NXT. She's been a double champion, but Jordan Grace, what does she have to prove?
Jordan Grace has everything to prove. Jordan Grace tonight has the opportunity to live up to the hype. You know, I mean, we spent a year and a half as fans wondering if Jordan Grace was going to get to the WWE, to NXT. What was it going to look like when it wasn't a Royal Rumble appearance, when it wasn't a special one-off, when Jordan Grace was a member of the full-time roster, and everybody would be put on notice. But what happened? Jordan Grace got to a roster that was growing and growing and growing and encountered beasts like Stephanie Vaquer. That is what she has to contend with tonight.
And I talked about earlier, living up to those dreams. Stephanie Vaquer, she said it before, she's always wanted to be at the top of the women's division. Now she's there. How does she hold on to it?
Stephanie Vaquer, when she got to NXT, was one of a few signings. And I don't think that every single set of eyeballs was on her at first. She shifted focus. She made sure that every set of eyeballs was on her. And an athlete like Stephanie Vaquer does not do that just to release those eyeballs. The eyeballs stay on the champion, and tonight, that's what Stephanie Vaquer looks to hold on to. She looks to make sure that all this hype that Jordynne Grace had around her coming to NXT stays hype, and she stays champion.
Well, Sam, you talked about athletes, and you can't talk about athletes in NXT without mentioning Sol Ruca. And speaking of free agents, Zarya was one of the free agent signings that was a beast
Absolutely.
as well. Once an unlikely duo, but now Sol holds the gold, and earlier this week, she sat down with our own Kelly Kincaid.
Zarya, champ Sol Ruca, thank you so much for joining me today.
For having us.
Of course. Now, diving right in, last year at Battleground, we saw you compete for the Women's North American Championship for the very first time.
Yes.
This Battleground, you're walking in as champion. So how are you feeling?
I am honestly so stoked. Not only am I walking in as the new Women's NXT North American Champion, but I'm also walking in as the WWE Women's Speed Champion. And this is honestly such a full circle moment for me because, I mean, last year I really wanted to win. I thought it was just going to be the perfect opportunity to show the world that I can bounce back from an injury better than ever. But in hindsight, you know, winning this title at the biggest stage of the year at Stand and Deliver with Zarya by my side, it was just so sweet.
Now, you mentioned Stand and Deliver. Now, I can't help but look at the two of you and think about that moment, right? The two of you are standing at the very top of the ladder. The Women's North American Championship is dangling above your head, and the two of you are looking at each other, and you know that in that moment, what has to be done has to be done. But here you sit, still best friends. So how does a strong friendship like this come about?
Well, we had a bit of a bumpy start. Yeah, but I mean, look at us now. Who would have thought? Not me, but it works. So we first met at Deadline at the Iron Survivor Challenge. We tried to put each other down. I thought our interactions would stop there because I wasn't here to make friends. I mean, look at me. Do I look like I fit in? I think you look like you fit in. So, look, I've always had a wall up until Sol did something that nobody's ever done before. And she stood up for me. And I think it was in that moment that we both had a mutual respect for each other. Yeah, and it didn't just end with the mutual respect. You know, we were together a little bit in the locker room, and I felt like I could see something inside of Zarya that I could bring out, so I begged her to hang out with me, so I took her to the beach. She's very resistant. I feel like I started to crack into her a little bit, but it wasn't until that second time where we did some stuff her way, did some axe throwing, some more aggressive stuff that I really felt like I cracked the code to Zarya, and yeah, now we're here. And look, people are constantly trying to put a wedge in between us, but we've been through so much already that this is why we are so strong. Yeah, and going back to that moment at Stand and Deliver, before the match had even started, we had a conversation, and we said that no matter what happens, Ruca is going to be fine. We agreed that this is just the nature of the beast, and that, you know, this is what we signed up for. This is a competition. We're not going to try and cheat our way to victory. You know, we're just going to have a nice, lighthearted competition, and whatever happens, happens.
The last time we saw you clash with Kelani Jordan was at Heatwave, and things were much different. That was friendly competition, and now the dynamic has changed. How do you think that's going to affect you?
Our last match last year, that was our only match we've actually ever had, and it is one of my favorite matches that I've had. And obviously she came out on top, and she ended up losing the title in an unconventional way. It was in a gauntlet match, and she couldn't pull through to the end, and I think that really hit her hard, and I think that there is some sort of void that's inside of her that I honestly don't think winning the title is going to fix. So this new attitude, I think it stems from that, and not only is she different, but I'm also different. You know, our last match together, I was still in the knee brace. I was still on the a little bit more cautious side of things. And now I'm so much more confident, not only in my knee, but within myself as well. And I have a badass best friend in my corner. And I think that Kelani thinks that I need Zarya, or that Zarya needs me. But that's the great thing about this dynamic that we have going on, is that we want to help each other, but we don't need each other to become successful. I won the Speed Championship all on my own. And I think she thinks she knows where my head is at. You know, she has been North American champion before, and she's also lost the championship. But she's never been a double champ, and she's never had a career-threatening injury, and she's never had someone like Zarya by her side. So Kelani, at Battleground. I hope you're ready to get your soul snatched.
Well, ladies, thank you so much for joining me today. And Sol, I wish you the best of luck at Battleground against Kalani.
Thank you. Thanks for having us. See, you opened up. Good job. So proud of you. It was the last time. Yeah, that was so hard.
Ever since Sol Ruca arrived in NXT and we witnessed the athleticism, we witnessed the Soul Snatcher, it was only really a matter of time, I thought, until she would hold gold in NXT. And Sam, that became a reality at Stand and Deliver. But something has changed in Sol Ruca ever since we've seen her alongside Zarya. What have you noticed that's different about Sol?
The main thing that I've noticed that's different about Sol is that she's got a championship around her waist and that she's embracing being a champion. What happened as soon as she won that Women's North American Championship? She's outside taking pictures with it. She's completely identified herself with that North American Championship. But honestly, it doesn't hurt having Zarya on your side.
No, it can't. I mean, Zarya is a force and she's certainly dangerous. But on the other side, Kalani Jordan, something's changed with her since she lost the title, Sam.
And I hope that something has changed, right? Because this is no longer Kalani Jordan going, hey, I'm the future. Hey, everybody look at me. You need to be the present. And I think that that's what Kalani has realized, that there's no more, I'm so surprised to have won. There are expectations on her now. The potential is ready to be realized. And what I hope and what I think is that Kalani Jordan finds that grit that she needs to overcome the North American champion.
Well, we're going to hear from Kalani Jordan later on in the show. She sat down with Kelly Kincaid, but we were talking about Sol Ruca walking out of Stand and Deliver with the championship gold. Two other superstars who won gold for the first time in NXT at Stand and Deliver were Hank and Tank, and tonight, right here at Battleground, they team up with Josh Briggs to take on the Culling.
Gentlemen, our moment has arrived. Tonight, for the very first time, we team together, and how fitting. On a grand stage of a PLE. A stage that's unfamiliar to you, Nico, and a platform that's but a memory for you, Brooks, but that's all contemporary. Men, tonight you can rely on my experience and my wisdom to guide, but make no mistake, I will be leaning on you both, because you have rejuvenated my purpose by becoming the truest versions of yourselves. Now those three superstars, Hank, Tank, and Briggs, they pose a very formidable challenge. But we're the Culling, and we have the ability to be victorious.
Battleground, the perfect description for the setting tonight. This is the biggest match of my life, and with my brothers by my side, I will leave carnage. Smash through 3 brick walls if I have to, just to make sure our hands are raised.
This is a moment of reflection for me and my journey. From where I was, wondering if I would continue to fall short, but now I realize that I was hanging with the wrong people. I'm not focused on what was, but what's in front of me. And that is 3 people who have my best interests in their minds and the epitome of what true friends are.
Tonight, the Culling ascends once again, closing the doors on the past by putting down Josh Briggs, and opening the doors of the future by letting Hank and Tank know that we are coming for the NXT Tag Team titles. We purge the weak, slaughter the feeble, and the Culling does whatever it needs to do to win.
Oh, it's so clear that Shawn Spears is looking to mold NXT into his vision, and he's using the Culling to do so. But Sam, you've been following Shawn Spears' career for quite some time. Is this what you imagine that he would be looking to shape the future of NXT to?
No, this is when we first met Shawn Spears, he was a completely different person. But he was a less successful person. He was a less controlled person. Is this what I expected from Shawn Spears? No, as a matter of fact, this has exceeded all expectations that I had for Shawn Spears. There's a reason why the Culling has made it to an NXT PLE, especially one that's as loaded as Battleground, and that's because the Culling has taken destiny into their own hands. Shawn Spears has figured out what he has to offer as a leader, and that's brought soldiers right to his doorstep that has enabled him to kind of start to slowly curate and craft NXT around what he thinks it should be.
But then on the other side, you have Josh Briggs teaming up with the tag team champions. And Josh Briggs, he's been through a lot lately.
Yeah, Josh Briggs is trying to figure out who Josh Briggs is. With no tag team partner, he was walking around NXT like he had no friends. I think that Josh Briggs has to forget about who is not here and focus on who is here. Focus on the fact that the tag team champions are by his side. If Josh Briggs is thinking about anything except for the success of Josh Briggs, the Culling are going to sniff it out. They are experts at figuring out weakness and exploiting those weaknesses to maintain control. Josh Briggs has to come in here tonight with no thought of what was in the past and only what is there for him in the future.
Well, we still have so much to get to right here on the countdown to Battleground, taking over Tampa, Florida. All of the action is coming your way, and we will be back with more Countdown when we return.
WWE ID supports the journey of WWE ID prospects as they travel the independent wrestling circuit. We've already seen several WWE ID prospects make an impact on WWE Evolve. The goal of these prospects, earn an opportunity. Or even better, a contract with NXT. Swipe Right made history by becoming the first WWE ID prospects to wrestle on NXT.
I like this team has mentality to take it to the next level.
Stevie Turner is now eyeing which ID prospects to bring to WWE Evolve next. Jordan Oasis has been on a roll throughout the Indies since the last time we've seen him in Evolve. Keep an eye out for the return of Itz Gall, who has stepped up his game across the Indies. Another name to watch out for is Marcus Mathers. This 22-year-old is the epitome of what the ID program stands for. He has taken the support of WWE to get the best training and wrestle all over the independent circuit. With this kind of improvement, WWE Evolve could be his next stop.
Kelly Armstrong.
What's up, Chewy?
What up, homie? How you doing?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Did you call it?
I called it.
4 women with a lot on the line that will set the tone for the women's division on Evolve.
I'm hearing a possible championship because of this.
Chewy, man, that's exciting. That's why we're here on Evolve. For championships, for bragging rights. I don't want nobody to be able to talk to me about nothing once I get that title. And best believe it's coming home with Kelly Armstrong. When I started to hear rumors about this Evolve title, I moved all my other trophies aside.
Okay.
That's the past. This is the present. And that championship that I'm about to win is the future.
This new chapter, this Evolve chapter, what does that look like for you and the WWE?
I think the name Evolve is perfect, because that's what I see myself doing, evolving. And it's getting scary, to be honest, because the longer I'm here, the more matches I get, the more opportunities. Like, these girls in this locker room better look out.
And what would it mean to you to be the first Evolve Women's Champion?
Being the first is one thing.
Right.
But you're also the best. I want to hold that title so I can be the example, showing that it don't matter where you from, no matter where you grew up. I grew up in the streets of Inglewood, California, and now I'm here holding a Evolve Championship belt. It shows promise, it shows purpose, it gives motivation. And I'm here to show y'all that it's possible.
The kids and the people who are watching this might be from situations like how we came up in. What's your advice to them?
My advice to all the kids out there is to dream big, think crazy. Have somebody tell you that don't make no sense, good, and then go do it. Because anything is possible, and I'm living proof of that. And I'm here every single day to go hard. So they better hope somebody put out this fire, because I promise you, once this fire keep going, I'm burning this whole place down.
We're all proud of you.
Thank you.
Kelly Armstrong, Chewy Martinez, Evolve.
On June 7th, Los Angeles hosts 2 epic events.
WWE Worlds Collide, featuring AAA Lucha Libre.
My, oh my, how good is this?
And WWE Money in the Bank.
The opportunity of a lifetime.
Rise above the rest. WWE Worlds Collide and Money in the Bank in Los Angeles, June 7th. Individual event tickets on sale now.
There he is, the #1 contender who's been proving people wrong his entire life, and tonight he looks to dethrone the ruler.
Miles Bourne, thanks for taking the time. First and foremost, congratulations. First WWE PLE singles match. Happens to be for the NXT Championship. So take me through what the last few weeks has been like in your life.
Well, Vic, I'll take you back a little further if you don't mind.
Sure.
When I first signed my NXT contract, I was going through a really hard time. And honestly, I didn't know if I was ready. But quickly, NQCC took me right in. They made me family. And they got me ready. And all the coaches always say, you know, be ready for any opportunity that you may get. And coming into the Battle Royal, I believe that was the most ready I've ever been. And now that I'm getting to go to Battleground for an NXT Championship match, the hard work obviously showed, and I proved myself. And now I feel like I'm hitting my stride, Vic. I'm ready. I was ready for the Battle Royal, and I'm gonna be ready Sunday.
You know, Miles, I've had the opportunity to get to know you over the last several months, and the one thing that I've learned about you, and correct me if I'm wrong here because I don't want misinformation, you were only given a 15% chance to live at birth. So my question is, why did you feel that it was the right time to tell the world about your disability and open up?
You know, Vic, it just felt right to open up to the audience and to the WWE Universe, especially after hearing them going crazy after I won that Battle Royal. I'm hard of hearing, but I heard them that night. I mean, more than just hear them, I felt them. I felt that I owed it to them to open up and share my story. And if they're getting behind me now and they're accepting me, then I want them to know the real me. And my hearing, my disability, my speech impediment, I don't want it to define me. I want to break stereotypes here. But at the same time, I want people to know that I am not ashamed of those characteristics. You know, that it made me who I am. I wouldn't be the man I am today, and I wouldn't change a thing, honestly, about that. And that's not just something I wanted to carry with me. I wanted to show the world that, to all the other kids who are struggling, that nothing can hold you back. There's no disability or challenge or limitation that's gonna define, you know, what you're capable of doing. And that's why this NXT Championship means so much to me, because I wanna show the world that if Miles Bourne can do something like that, you can do anything.
I mean, it's an amazing journey. It's been an amazing story. What you've opened up to me about, what you've opened up to the NXT and the WWE Universe about. But let's talk about that NXT Championship match, because this is the biggest match of your career. So the question that I have to you is, you're facing Oba Femi, nearly undefeated in his time here in NXT. How are you going to be able to topple the ruler? How are you going to be able to conquer the conqueror? How are you going to be able to dethrone Oba Femi? Why is Miles Bourne going to be the NXT champion at the end of Battleground?
You know, Vic, I've been defying the odds since day one. And I've been fighting since birth, honestly, just to survive. And I'll be fighting against Oba, mostly to survive. He's a monster. And I mean, let's be honest, Vic. He's got me beat on size. He's got me beat in strength. He's got me beat in power. But the one thing he doesn't have me beat on is my heart. And I genuinely believe I'm gonna defy the odds again on Sunday at Battleground. I'm confident that I can step and go toe-to-toe with Oba Femi. And behind that confidence, I gotta give credit to my teammates. Tavion Heights, Charlie Dempsey, Ren Sinclair, I mean, they've been phenomenal. They've worked with me every day. I couldn't do it if it wasn't for them. And I can't thank them enough. But Vic, I know I'm in for a fight at Battleground.
Yeah.
But that's what I love about it. And not only am I standing up against Oba, he's standing up against a Miles Bourne. And I'm not just going into that ring alone. I'm carrying the weight of an entire community behind me who have struggled, who have had a disability or challenges that they've had to overcome, adversity at every corner that they took. That's who I'm fighting for. And I believe that's gonna carry me all the way through to the finish. My high school wrestling coach, Dan Willis, he always told me, Vic, the wolf climbing the hill is always hungrier than the wolf on top. And I believe when I leave Tampa, I will be your new NXT champion.
Well, I know there's a lot of people that are now following your journey. There's a lot of people, as you just said, that you're fighting for, and they're all looking forward to seeing you write your next chapter. Good luck.
Thank you.
Just a few weeks ago, Miles Bourne was a complete afterthought until he survived the Battle Royal to become the #1 contender. And Sam, not only that, he defeated Ethan Page to remain the #1 contender. But we heard Obafemi on Tuesday. This is not a Disney story. This is over. This is the championship. Is it over for Miles Bourne?
I don't think it's over for Miles Bourne. I think anybody that thinks it's over for Miles Bourne are probably the same people that weren't giving him the credibility to start with. And that was a lot of people. Look, he didn't just survive that Battle Royal. That was a Battle Royal full of superstars from NXT, LFG, Evolve, TNA. And he won that Battle Royal. He went in to win, and he won. Every week that he has shown up on NXT, including last Tuesday, he has not had a thought in his eyeballs dictate to everyone watching that he is aware of the position that he is in and feels ready for it. There is not an ounce of doubt in his face. Like he said, he knows how big this is. This is not, he didn't dream of winning a Battle Royal. He didn't dream of beating Ethan Page. He dreams of being that figure that is judged by his ability, not by his disability. And I think Miles Bourne is motivated by this force to show the world what somebody like him can do when given the platform that he's earned.
Well, that's all well and good, and I understand his hopes, aspirations, and dreams, and I'm happy to see Miles Bourne in this position. But unfortunately for Miles Bourne, the NXT champion is Obafemi, and Obafemi is a totally different beast, Sam.
He is. He's built different from anybody that is in NXT. If anybody besides Obafemi were champion, this would be a no-brainer. This would be a slam dunk with all the momentum that Miles Bourne has built up. But look, Obafemi even felt the effects on Tuesday on NXT. The fact that he's champion, and even if he is as big as he is, even if he is as intimidating as he is, he's got a target on his back. Jasper Troy shows up and says, I'm going to make a mark on NXT. He said to Ava, I'm going to make an impact tonight. And what did he do? He went for the strongest line in the pack and took him right down. And look, physically, I think Obafemi will be fine for Battleground tonight. But mentally, what effect does that have on you when you know you've got Miles Bourne in front of you that doesn't have an ounce of quit in his entire body? And if somehow you survive Miles Bourne, Jasper Troy and who knows who else is waiting for you on the other side of this match.
And Miles Bourne, as we mentioned, he's very underrated. Oba has been nothing but dominant. But Sam, what happens when you overlook your opponent?
When you overlook your opponent, historically speaking, you're destined to fail. And I think that applies to both Miles Bourne and to Obafemi. But I don't think Miles Bourne is overlooking anybody. I think that Obafemi has to watch out. He cannot rely on his past dominance. Because you're right, Obafemi has been champion for a long time, but what that's done is it's given people like Miles Bourne the opportunity to study this beast, to look at what it is that makes him into somebody that is built different. And if there is any weakness in the essence of Obafemi, each match that he puts on film allows his future opponents to study and find those weaknesses. And tonight, for Miles Bourne's sake, I hope he's found one.
Well, and Obafemi has also defended that title in so many different matches. We've seen a lot of triple threat matches, but this time it's just one-on-one, man for man, Miles Bourne against Obafemi. But everybody in the WWE Universe is still shook by what we witnessed at Stand and Deliver when Stacks betrayed his family, betrayed the Don of NXT. And here he is, the Don of NXT, has business on his mind, and he needs to put the underboss in his place. But after betraying Tony D'Angelo and the family at Stand and Deliver, Stacks wants to put Tony D'Angelo in his place.
This is what it looks like when you have a family absolutely fractured. The former D'Angelo family of NXT explode tonight at Battleground.
NXT. Some say it's a battlefield, but to me, it's home.
It's all about family.
I'm Tony D'Angelo, the Don of NXT. The D'Angelo family will always own these streets. The glue that holds this family together is Adriana.
Fool me once, I break your face.
Then there's Luca Crucifino, my consigliere. Luca, you get that thing done? That thing and the other thing. This kid, huh? Take care of business. Stacks, that's my boy. He's my right-hand man. He's the underboss. We grew up together.
I always had his back because that's what loyalty is all about.
I trust him with my life. He's saved my ass more times than I can count.
When I got locked up, he handled business.
You know I'd do anything for you, right? Just like you taught me, T. I learned from the best. I can't remember a time that it wasn't me and Stacks against the world. Our time is now, Don. It's time for us to take over.
The Don and the Underboss, two-time tag team champions.
I'm gonna be loyal to the end. You can always trust me, T. Always.
Hey!
Dark State! How do we not see this coming? T, we gotta take the fight to them. They're dangerous.
Sure.
You gotta... Listen, that's your temper talking. Emotion is a sign of weakness. Yeah, but the same thing can be said about the family right now. No respect.
Now, Stacks, he's always been so passionate. He always wanted to lead the family.
I'm the underboss. This is my call. Are you with me?
But at the same time, Stacks' impulsivity jeopardized his family.
Stacks, what the hell are you doing? Risking the family on something I didn't sign off on? Stacks, do not question me again. Listen, we all want the Dark State, okay? But we're not gonna do it in some street. We're gonna do it in front of the entire world. Stand and deliver. You understand me? Understood. You can always trust me, T. Always. Tony, I am sick of taking your orders. You aren't capable of leading us anymore. You were getting soft. I had to take the reins myself and put you in your place. Luca, gone. You need to make this right. Do you know why I invited you out here? And then you send Rizzo into hiding?
What if we have a sit-down?
Look, I can't sit down with him. He declared war.
He waited for the whole world to be watching. And he took that knife and he stuck it right in my back. Now, Stacks, you're gonna pay for your sins.
Family business will be settled once and for all as the Don battles the Underboss at Battleground.
Stacks, you want the big seat, huh? You want to be the Don?
Tony, at Battleground, I finished the Don and put an end to the D'Angelo family once and for all. Stacks, so you wanted all the glory. That's why you're never gonna sit in a big chair. And at Battleground, there is no betrayal. There is no bailout. Just me breaking your face.
It's all about the business.
One of the most personal grudge matches in NXT history. Two men that at one point were closer than brothers, some would argue, but now bitter enemies and a family completely torn apart. I don't know if many saw Stacks' betrayal coming, but something has changed within Stacks.
Listen, I mean, they pledged their life to that life of crime. There is no honor amongst thieves. And ultimately, that was a lesson that Tony D'Angelo had to learn. This is what concerns me. This is what concerns me greatly about Tony D'Angelo. And it really struck me watching NXT on Tuesday that Stacks was one step ahead of him all the way. You know, when you have an underboss, I think the key is to teach them everything that they know, but not everything that you know. If Stacks has learned everything Tony D'Angelo knows, then that gives Stacks an unprecedented advantage tonight at Battleground.
But at the same time, Tony D'Angelo is the one who taught Stacks.
Correct. You can't teach too much. I think that's what it comes down to. Look, I think that Tony D'Angelo is at a place right now that he hasn't been before. He's at a place right now where he's being outwitted. He's being outnumbered at times. And all of these strategies that Tony D'Angelo has used to get everywhere that he's gotten in NXT have generally revolved around Stacks. Stacks figured that out. And look, Stacks is in a tough position, okay? We all know that when somebody tries to usurp their boss the way Stacks is doing, you better win. You don't come at the king unless you're ready to take that crown away from him. Stacks has to be ready to take everything away from Tony D'Angelo, because if not, Tony D is going to end him.
Yeah, and we've seen Tony D'Angelo from time to time get help from whether it be Stacks, the rest of the D'Angelo family, but Rizzo is in hiding. Everybody from the D'Angelo family is away right now. This is just Stacks and
Tony
the Don
going
one-on-one. And I mean, you think of the history that these two have together, and it's deeply personal.
Of course it's deeply personal, because, I mean, there are families, and families don't get along sometimes, but crime families are even closer than regular families because they have to keep secrets for everybody's benefit. Tonight, who does the family go with? Because in my experience with crime families, and I have quite a bit, the family goes with the winner.
And we'll have to see tonight at Battleground who walks away with the family by their side, and more importantly, who walks away as the winner. We still have so much more to get to right here on Countdown to Battleground. When we come back, we are talking history as Joe Hendry defends his title against Trick Williams.
Do you believe? Do you believe?
I believe.
Wow.
Rep your squad like it's only one squad. Rep your squad like it's only one squad.
We go, explode, get dough, ain't no cheat code. We go. Rep your squad like it's only one squad. 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 Rep your squad like it's only one squad.
Tonight only, free shipping on qualifying orders.
Legend just bounced off the ladder. It's been chaos since the beginning of the night. You can see what's trending #1, and it's because these 6 women are looking to become the one to make history. I just looked down. Lash is hurt right now, almost at our feet.
Of course she's hurt, Vic.
But look at the bodies in the ring. They're throwing haymakers right now, Book, inside the UFC Apex. Michin DDT!
Talking about here we go, Vic. So close, but still gets so far away. You gotta do it.
Oh, how wise of Michin to jump to the second ladder. But, oh, no. Ooh! Nasty landing for Michin.
Very nasty landing.
Again, the danger of the ladder match. It doesn't stop. There's no timeouts. This is continuing.
The strength.
And this is just the start to NXT Battleground. A historic night. This has already been the first premium live event for NXT in Las Vegas, the first WWE event in the UFC Apex, and Parker looking to become the first. Oh, Michin. And these two have a rivalry between the two. Remember how much they were jaw-jacking with one another this past Tuesday? That's carried over into tonight. And Sol took a little bit too much time trying to get that ladder to be perfectly still. Oh! Sol Snatcher!
That was a beautiful setup. Beautiful setup there by Sol Ruca. Oh! Two times for your mind. Oh my God, man.
Quickly up to the top. Sol, Michin, Kalani. Sol's to the top, Kalani's to the top. Michin. Kalani trying to fight just to stay on top of the ladder. Oh, both women, same idea. Almost a double KO.
Window just opened, though, Baker. Window just opened for Michin.
And Sol Ruca back to her feet somehow, and she just got wiped out. You're right, that door is open right now for Michin. The same thing can be said for Kalani. One of a kind. Get there. Kalani. She's up top. She did it. She just made history. Jordan has made history.
Here is your winner and the first ever NXT Women's North American Champion, Kalani Jordan.
Unbelievable. Kalani Jordan from the Big Ten to NXT to Las Vegas to the first NXT North American Women's Champion.
Rated T for teen.
It's a madhouse, it's a madhouse. Had a lot of people showing me some mad doubts. It's a madhouse, it's a madhouse. I got love for the game, I don't cash out. It's a madhouse, it's a madhouse. Had a lot of people showing me some mad doubts. It's a madhouse, it's a madhouse. I got love for the game, I don't cash out.
Kalani, huge weekend coming up at Battleground, but first let's rewind to Battleground 2024. You made history, becoming the first ever Women's North American Champion, winning a huge ladder match. Ultimately, what did that moment mean to you?
When I look back on that moment, I remember at first I felt like, oh my gosh, this is a fever dream, this is so surreal. But now I realized that being the first champion, it was a huge responsibility. It was also a great opportunity to show the world just how good Kalani Jordan is. But when I walked into Battleground last year, no one believed in me. They overlooked me, they underestimated me. No one placed their bets on me. All I know is I believed in myself. And so I knew when I made history and became the first North American champion, I was gonna prove everyone who believed in me right, and those who didn't, wrong.
Let's fast forward back to this coming weekend, talking about making history, opportunity to make it once again, chance to become the first ever two-time Women's North American Champion. But Kalani, what's different this time around?
Well, when you look at my reign the first time, a lot of people say, oh, she's so rainbows and butterflies, so happy, bubbly. But now, my attitude has changed. I'm not the same Kalani Jordan I was last year. I realized in order to make it in this business, there's no friends. I knew I had a target on my back. I knew people wanted what I have. And so I had to trim the fat, cut some friends out, and realize I had to focus on myself and get what I want, and that's the North American Championship.
Kalani, we've been talking about the physical championship, but let's talk about the champion herself in Sol Ruca.
Blake, I know what Sol's thinking. Besides, you're interviewing me and you didn't care to ask me about Heatwave where I already beaten Sol. She remembers it. I remember it. Hell, you even remember it. Sol is the most athletic person in the building, not named Kalani Jordan. You can call this a new attitude, you can call it what you want, but the point is I call it experience. I know what it's like to win a title. I know what it feels like to lose the title. And Sol's gonna find out on Sunday just what that feels like.
It's two of the most athletic women in NXT vying for the NXT Women's North American Championship. Will Sol Ruca retain in her first title defense, or will Kalani Jordan win back the title that she once held? And Sam, you talked about it earlier. Kalani Jordan is a superstar in NXT that you said you need to see some grit out of. She's a changed woman ever since losing the Women's North American Championship. But I saw something different out of her in that interview with Kelly Kincaid. I think that grit is coming along out of Kalani.
I would agree. You know, she was the first Women's North American champion in NXT. She won it at the last Battleground, and a lot has changed since then. Like I said earlier, there was this notion that she finally did it, let's go, when she won that championship, but we're not in that space anymore. Now that title is part of this competitive division. That title is moving. That title is sought after. That title is something that women are fighting for on a week-to-week basis, and that's the mode that Kalani Jordan needs to be in. And I would agree with you. I think she has shown that grit. But it's one thing to show that you've changed your essence in an interview with Kelly Kincaid. It's another thing to do it in the ring against Sol Ruca.
And becoming the first ever Women's North American champion, that's something that no one can ever take away from you. But is that it for Kalani?
Well, that's the thing, right? You're right. Nobody can ever take it away from her, but that's not the mindset that she needs to be in. She cannot be in this mindset of, well, I've already accomplished this, so whatever happens tonight, no. That's the past. It doesn't matter that she was the first North American champion. Tonight, she needs to be the next North American champion. That's the only place that head of hers needs to be.
Yeah, and you know, you talk about championships in WWE, and both of these two women have really gone on a similar path to get here. They're both athletes. They have that gymnastics background, but there has got to be an edge that comes about, because when you just go head to head and we're talking about athleticism, they both possess that.
But what's so interesting to me is the way they've both evolved, the way they've both changed as they've become full-fledged NXT superstars. Yeah. Not gymnasts that are in NXT, but NXT superstars. And you know, I was just thinking, it's a good thing that Kalani Jordan has that ladder match experience. Yeah. She won this title originally in a multi-person ladder match because it's another Battleground and nothing has changed. Tonight, if Kalani Jordan wants to win the North American Championship back, she's got to keep her head on a swivel, because Zarya is right there to complicate things even further.
Yeah, and you talk about nothing changing, but everything is sort of changed for Trick Williams in NXT.
Everything has changed for Trick Williams for NXT, but what hasn't changed is that Trick Williams is a history maker. Tonight, we see it. For the first time, this man, Trick Williams, looks to win the TNA World Championship on an NXT PLE. And what Joe Hendry has to do is prove that he is not an average Joe.
What does it mean to be TNA champion? For most of us, it was a launching pad.
If you want to be the best, you gotta beat the best. And here I am, TNA champion.
For some of us, a career resurgence. But for the last 23 years, the TNA champion has been the embodiment of this underdog promotion. And in those 2 decades, no title holder has carried the TNA brand quite like the current champion.
Say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry.
Joe Hendry, the Scottish-born champion who has made us all believe, not just in him, but in TNA wrestling. As champion, Hendry has led a resurgence for this company.
Joe Hendry is here in NXT.
Sellout crowds.
Do you believe in Joe Hendry?
Viral moments.
Moment of the night. I believe in Joe Hendry. The TNA champion is here.
And even surprise appearances at WrestleMania.
Wave your hands from side to side and say, oh, I believe in Joe Hendry.
He has left an indelible impact on the entire landscape of professional wrestling.
Oh my God!
Trick Williams, NXT's franchise player,
I started my WWE career with nothing but ambition. I came with a work ethic and a good attitude, from the rookie to the main event.
The leader of the Whoop That era.
6'3", 235 pounds on a granite. That's a star, man.
Let's talk about it.
Trick knows exactly what it's like to carry the weight of a brand as a champion. He's done it twice for NXT.
That's all it is, and that's all it's gonna be. May not have the NXT title, but I'm still the man.
And now Trick looks to make history and become the new face of TNA Wrestling. Tonight, we make a new moment in history. For the first time ever, the TNA Championship will be defended at a WWE Premium Live event.
You did this to yourself, Joe. I'm gonna take what means the most to you, and that's that TNA title.
I'm defending this against TNA wrestlers, NXT superstars, and I'm putting them down.
You are a social media sensation. Trick Williams is bigger than NXT. I'm bigger than TNA, and I'm Hollywood Trick.
You used to be somebody that these people could get behind. You used to be someone that could lead that locker room. Truth is, Trick Williams is a whiny bitch.
I'm gonna take your fame, I'm gonna take your title, and I'm gonna take your brand.
When the dust finally settles at Battleground, who will be the face of TNA?
It's the first time ever that TNA World Championship will be defended on a WWE Premium Live event. And what two bigger superstars than Trick Williams and Joe Hendry. But Sam, you have been following the career of Joe Hendry for such a long time. You've been following TNA Wrestling for such a long time. Could you have ever imagined that we would see this in NXT?
You don't understand. Like, every part of me is saying, Megan, you're not supposed to say that on a WWE Countdown show. Stop saying TNA. We're going to get in trouble. That's how impossible the idea of this was. When we talk about history, we're not overstating it tonight. On a WWE PLE, the TNA World Championship is on the line. And it's on the line being defended by a champion who has captured the imagination of the WWE fans to such an extent that he got a massive ovation coming out at WrestleMania, of all places. I mean, Joe Hendry has done things that I don't think anybody thought possible. Not only representing TNA to the point that he can defend the TNA Championship on a WWE PLE, but coming into what at one point would have been considered enemy territory and getting cheered by the WWE fans. I'm not speaking for Tampa, but everybody that I've talked to wants to see Joe Hendry beat NXT's Trick Williams in NXT's home court.
There's a lot of believers out there in Joe Hendry, and we love the song, we love the neck snap, but Sam, is he more than an average Joe?
Yes, I mean, listen, unfortunately, calling him an average Joe is extremely catchy. Trick Williams, he got one with that one, and we all ate just a little bit, but to call Joe Hendry average, he's the opposite. I mean, he's done things. Wrestling is a wide sport. There's a million ways that you can do it. And Joe Hendry coming out with the song, with the entrance, and then getting in the ring and just showing people that he isn't afraid of anybody has changed things, I think, for everybody in the sport.
But Trick Williams is not afraid or intimidated by Joe Hendry or the TNA World Championship.
And I kind of like that we're seeing this honest version of Trick Williams. I kind of like that we're not seeing Trick smile so much, because he has nothing to smile about. The fact is that Trick Williams showed up ready to take his time. When Carmelo left, it was Trick's time to take over this brand. And what happened? Somebody from TNA Wrestling shows up, and he's the guy that the NXT fans want to see. I understand Trick's anger, and I understand the motivation that Trick Williams has to force the audience to appreciate him, to take this moment in history and spoil it for TNA entirely. That is what Trick Williams is capable and can do tonight at Battleground.
Will he get the job done? Will we have a new TNA World Champion at Battleground? We are just moments away from all of the action coming your way. Let's take one last look at what is in store for tonight. This one is for the top of the best division in all of women's wrestling. Stephanie Vaquer battles Jordynne Grace to be the new NXT Women's Champion.
I can't wait. This has been so competitive, but the competition only begins there because the NXT Championship is on the line. Obafemi is defending against somebody that he probably never thought he'd be defending against, but it happens tonight against Miles Bourne.
Also tonight at Battleground, it is 6-man tag team action. Shawn Spears has been looking to shape and mold NXT into his vision. He's doing so through the culling, but can they overcome the tag team champions and Josh Briggs?
There is more gold on the line tonight at Battleground as the NXT Women's North American Championship is up for grabs. Sol Ruca defending against the former champion, Kalani Jordan.
Also tonight, this one is not about a title, it's about family. It's about being brothers. The underboss takes on the Don of NXT, Tony D'Angelo.
And we told you, tonight is about history. Tonight is about seeing something that you never thought you would see at a WWE PLE. Tonight, the TNA World Championship is defended by Joe Hendry against Trick Williams, and we all are going to get to see it in front of our faces. Be there for history. You will tell your children. Do not miss it.
Tonight, the baddest brand in pro wrestling takes over new ground.
What a fight!
WWE Battleground from Tampa, Florida. Tonight, the baddest brand in pro wrestling takes over new ground.
What a fight!
WWE Battleground from Tampa, Florida. Tonight, the baddest brand in pro wrestling takes over new ground. Takes over new ground.
What a